Today we are going to learn about how to create simple and catchy thumbnails, and of course we shall learn about the best practices to export this in Photoshop so that you can use them as thumbnails in your YouTube videos. So guys, we have a lot to learn from this tutorial. Without further ado, let's get started. Hi there, my name is Kazungu Duncan from Ero Productions, and I know if you have a growing channel, you must have searched on how to increase your views and to grow your YouTube channel, and you are told that one of the ways is to have a catchy and simple thumbnail, and of course this increases your click-through rate, which of course will result to you having views. And of course I'm not guaranteeing that you will get views, but again this will just increase the click-through rate. What will make people to subscribe to your YouTube channel is the type of content that you are giving out. Now we are back in the magical world of Photoshop, and in case you would like to download any image that I'm going to use here, you already know what to do. Find a link in the description. And first of all, I want to show you example of YouTube channels that are using their thumbnails to just catch the attention of people. So I have several here, and the first one is Ero Productions, the one that you are watching. I learned this trick some time back, and it has really helped me. I used to have around 5 to 10 views at most, but then if you look at my journey in YouTube, it is starting to grow from time to time, and I can have in 2 weeks I have 69 views. In one day, look at that, I have 37 views. This is something good for me because I've just learned on how to create good thumbnails in Photoshop, and this will has increased my click-through rate. Then I want to show you some people who've really made it on YouTube. The first guy is called Benjamin from Benny Productions, and look at what he does. Hey, look at this. I think I like this. Look at the thumbnails. Of course he has some photos, and then he has a little text over there. If it's a speed art, he'll say this is a speed art, and I'm sure if you look at this, I've watched most of his videos because I'm his #1 fan. So I like the way he presents his thumbnails. And the second example is Pixie Imperfect, and if you look at Unmesh, what he does, he shows you the before and the after. For example, he's turning this black to white, which is an awesome tutorial. I watched that. You can see here he's turning this into this, maybe it is he's called it tones, brilliant skin tones, and you can really relate to that. You can see here he was creating some lighting effect, and I like this. So it's showing you the before and the after, and this one will also work for you if you like this. And of course, if I'm talking about how to do skin retouching, I have to show you the before image and the after image. Then I want to show you Piramikini. Piramikini, what he does, he just takes a photo, then puts it there. So what he does, that is, he's not doing a lot of work. He's just picking a photo and resizing it to fit here and just places it here. And I'm also his fan. I usually watch his stuff. You can see he's just using random photos, but these photos are relevant to what he is talking about. So this shows us that you must have relevant thumbnails. Then lastly, I want to show you Think Media. Think Media also does the same. They have only the images, and maybe look at this. They were doing Canon, maybe they were doing a comparison between Canon Mark II and Canon M50. And you can see they have Mark II here and they have Mark I here. And you can see now, if someone wants to watch that, of course, they will want to now click on this. So these are the example of channels that are using thumbnails to catch, many of their viewers' attention, and this can really help you. And of course there are so many there are so many examples that I would have given, but then that I think was relevant for me to share. Now I was thinking this way: if I need to make a tutorial about how to lose weight using yoga, so what should I do? Of course I'll go on Google and type yoga and then download some good images. So of course I usually download 3 to 4 images. For example, here I had 3 images. This image, I had also this image, right? And I also had this very image. Where is it? This one. So after that you will decide which image should I use. So for me, I went for this because it is dramatic. Look at, I even wonder how on earth can you do such a thing? So I I took this photo because I knew if someone will look at this, wow, they will say now I need to do this. So of course I picked this. You can pick any of these and please choose only one. You can also use two, but then one will do you fine. Then the next thing to do is to remove your subject from the background, and I have already done that because I never wanted to keep you here. So if I just put this off, you can see I have her without the background. So you can use the tools to remove backgrounds. For example, you can use the pen tool, which I highly recommend. If you do not know how to use a pen tool, I highly recommend this video that I did about Photoshop for beginners. You will learn that. You can also use the lasso tools, and this will be of great help to you. So use the tool that you are comfortable with, then remove the background, and then now the design begins. So what you have to do, you have to create a new document. So come to File and then click on New. Then this will load. Of course, I can rename this to something like Yoga Exercise, just like that. Then I can now change this to pixels. Make sure that it's pixels. Then the dimensions I need to have HD, and of course that is 1280 by 720. Then the resolution, leave it at 300. Then color mode, leave it at RGB. Then just click OK. Of course, Photoshop will now create a new document, and then I'll come to this part and just select this my subject. Just make this to show so that you see I've selected. Then come to Edit, then say Copy, then come to Exercise, say Edit, then paste. You can use shortcuts Control C, Control V, and that will do you fine. Then I can hit Control T for free transform, and I can happily resize this very image just like that. And I can also resize from the corners so that I think I should have a bigger image just like that. Hit enter or return. Then I'll come here and place it somewhere here just like that. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to have a solid color background. So to do that, I'll come to, first of all, let me name this. It's good to name it. So I can just call it Yoga Girl. Just like that. Then I can come and select the background, click on adjustment layers, then select solid color. Then by default it is giving me black, but what I want to do is that I want to just come outside this. If you have this color dialog box, you will have a color picker and you can pick it from here. So I just needed to have something closer to this. I don't want it to be too dark, although that is also fine, but I can just happily pick something brighter just like that and just hit OK. I can always revisit this and change the color if I want to do that. So I'll have that color just like that. Then I wanted to have something cool with this lady, so I'll come to this layer and just I want to apply a stroke, as a white lining, of course, on this lady. So I can just come to this layer and double click on the right hand side of that layer, and that will now load the blend if options. Then I can just place it here so that I can see what I'm doing. Then I will select stroke, right? After I've selected the stroke, it will automatically give me a black stroke. Then I will now change the color of the stroke to white, right? Just like that. Then I will want now to change the position. The position, I want it to be outside. You can choose it to be inside or center, but I like it to be outside so that when I'm going to increase it, it will increase towards the outside side of it. Then I can happily increase the this very size. But then I would like to do 1 or 2. So let me just do 2, and I think that will be fine. Just like that. If you don't want this stroke, you can skip this stage and you can go to this next stage. Now the next thing to do is now to have some writing, because I now need you to just write, especially if you are a growing channel, you need to write something here so that someone can really read that on the thumbnail and then they can click and see what you have to do. So to do that, I realized that my tool is a bit disturbing. So I had done a text here to just write these good things here and all that. So you can really copy this, but then I can really show you how to quickly do this. So I'll come and I'll just now pick which tool, the text tool. After that, I'll just click here and click there. Then I will write reduce right, reduce weight using yoga, just like that. Then I can just accept the change and let it load. Then I'll come here and position that. But I was thinking that I need yoga to be on its own. So what I'll do, I'll just double click here and then just select this and hit Ctrl X so that it is cut, and just do like that, right? So I can just decide to put it on the same line, just like that, so that I can have yoga, of course, down there. So I had already cut yoga, so I'll just make a copy of this, just like that. And then I will come and double click on this T here to select everything, then hit Ctrl V to paste that yoga. So after it has pasted, then I'll come and hit this tick to just accept the changes, and of course I'll now have yoga on a different layer. So I can now manipulate it on a different layer. So I'll select this what do you call it, reduce weight, then double click here on this T so that it selects everything, and then I can now increase the size of this because I need it to be a bit huge, just like that. And now I'll hit this to accept the changes, and then I would now want to position this and see where it will fit. So I think it's a bit big. I'll also double click and just reduce this to something like 15. Let me just type in 15 points, just like that, and then I will accept that, and I think that's fine. So I'll position it there. I'll also select this yoga and just double click on this T to just increase its size, not that big, just like that, and just hit this. And then I can also happily position it. So for example, I need it to be here, so that this reduced weight should be here. And what I'm doing is very subjective. You will decide what to do, but then I'm just finding the best way to do this. So I can do that. I can also want to change the color, because I don't think if this black it's that fine. So I may want to double click here once again and just come and hit this box and just try to change to something like white. Yes, like that. I can see white is doing me fine. I believe I can go with that. And then for yoga, I can decide also to have a different color. And let me see the color that will suit yoga. I can just place this here, and let me try something like yellow or orange or brown, something like that. Let me see yellow. Will yellow work for this? Yes, it's fine, but maybe I just need to increase the saturation, just like that. I think light yellow is fine. That will do me just fine. Then I can now decide to do some other few things. For example, I can just select this yoga and hit the character, and on this character I'll just increase this to just something like that. This is now basically optional. You may want to do it or not do it, and then I'll just maybe sorry for that. I will not accept that. I'll just leave it that. I think I like it that way. Then I'll come to this and want to position it, and I'll double click here to reduce a bit. I think it's still big, so I'm saying these are very optional. You may want to watch or not watch this, but I guess that it's also good to just try and make something good. Let me see, 12. Will 12 work for me? What's not happening? Control Z. Yes, let me double click once again. Sometimes you may experience such difficulties, but I believe you'll know how to go about it. So I said 12. Let me see, 12. Will really 12 work for me? Let me try that. Just accept that and bring it here. Yes, then I can hit Control T, and then I can happily increase this, and I just need it to just like that, and hit enter. I think that's fine. So reduce weight using yoga. That's very fine. You may want to add your name. For example, if I'm Kazungu and I'm doing this, I may want to write there maybe with Kazungu or something close to that. And maybe I may want to put now my, what do you call them? My social platform usernames. So I may want to come to file and then, where is it? Place embedded. And then I'll just come and, select some good, what do you call it, icons here. So I'll come to local disk D. I think I save mine in D. And then in D, I'll come to icons, just like that. And then I will choose Facebook. I will also choose Instagram. And finally, I may want to choose Twitter. Just like that, and say place. And then, of course, it will place there. And then what I'll do is now to resize this. Just from the corners, hold Shift and happily resize this. Just like that. I need it to be so small. And after that, hit enter. Just resize like that. And also I can come back to file and say place embedded. I think it only selected one, and I think it only picks one at a time. So that's really fine. Can just also reduce this size to something like that. I can always come back and resize it if I want. So I'll place it here. Have I touched anything? No. I needed this one. Yes, just like that. And lastly, I will now place, what do we call it? Instagram. And maybe most of you people like Instagram. So of course, I don't want to assume that. I'll also want to place that. And it will also place that. And I can now happily reduce this just like that and hit enter. Then I can now, sorry for that. Let me cancel. So I'll want also to position this. So I'll zoom in and see what I'm doing. Just like that. And this one I feel it's a bit big. So I'll reduce this. Yes, that's fine. Then I'll place this somewhere here. Hey, what's not open? So bring this here. I usually like starting with the Facebook, then Twitter will follow. Just like that. Then Instagram. But this Twitter one, I feel it's big, so I'll just select it and reduce it. Don't want it to be that big. Just like that, and then I can reposition this. Let me resize this again. That's fine. Then I'll bring here this Instagram just like that. Then I may want to select all of them just like that, and then I can place them here. And then below it, I will now write, whatever my Instagram or Facebook or Twitter handle username is. So I'll come here and just copy this and place it here and double click here and just write Ero Productions, for example. Then I'll hit Ctrl A and I'll bring this down to a smaller size. Then after that, I'll accept the changes. Then I can happily zoom in and then I can see what I'm doing just like that. And also Ctrl T for free transform. Then I can resize this just like that. Then hit enter. Then I can place it there. So if I need to change the color, of course I will change it, but I guess that is fine. So you can see now this thumbnail is so good. At least when someone is looking at this, he won't struggle to know what you will be talking about. Then this, I guess if someone will see this, he will now want to click and at least watch what you are offering. You can add some other stuff, some other information there, but I guess you should be as simple as possible, because if you become so complex, people will not want to watch your very video, and people will just click away at the first point they see your video. So guys, I had this and I just felt like sharing with you, because some of you might have some problems creating such good and appealing thumbnails, which is becoming problematic to us. You can have the privilege of changing the colors and all that, because I said whatever I'm doing here is completely subjective, and this will depend on what you already like. You can want to use your brand colors, which is fine, but for this tutorial I just decided to use the color of our clothing, and this will be fine. So like if I have something like for example this image, I will not want to remove the background. Sometimes it's not a must to remove the background. What I'll want to do is I'll copy this and resize it to 1280 by 720, then I can place some text, or this image already speaks for itself. When someone looks at it and says, wow, I like the shape of this lady and I would like to be just like her. And maybe this one will encourage those who are at least having some good weight. Where is it? This one. Some good weight. At least they can do these practices and maybe achieve some curvy shape like this you are watching. And this will be fine. If someone will be looking at this, she or he will be happy to, you know, just have this. I can also decide not to remove this very background because I think it's cute. I think there's some waters there and all that. So what I want, I'll just put there some text, or I can just leave it that way just to resize it. So after you are through with your design, which you may want to add some other things, maybe your contact info and all that. For example, if you're sharing on Facebook or on Instagram, you may want to add some information in case someone wants to reach you. They can absolutely reach you, and you may help them whenever they want. So now I want us to now have the best practices to save this so that you can use it for your thumbnail. So what to do? You can do it in 2 ways, rather even 3 ways. The third way is a bit, you know, complex and it's a bit scientific, but I did a tutorial for that. You can watch it. I did a tutorial on how to save your files in Photoshop with one button. You'll find a link in the description, or you can just find it up here. You know, you will watch it. So I'll come to File, then I can say Save As. Then I will allow it to load, which may take some good time depending on how your machine is. So I'll want to save it on my computer, so I'll just select Save on Computer. I'll just click this once again. Then it will now load my local disk. I will now be able to choose where to save this, right? So I'll just come to local disk D. Where is D? D. Then in D, I'll always save in, I have a folder that is called thumbnails. So I'll save here. Then I will change this. I can first of all save it as PSD. In case I need to change this some other time, I'll just come and change it. So I can save it as PSD for, you know, changing. But for this, let me just save it as JPEG. And of course, I will now hit save. That's one way. I may want to rename it if I want, but it's not a must. The next way to, you know, save this or export this is to just come to File, sorry, File, and then say Export, then Export As. Then of course this dialog box will load. Just give it some few moments. It will have loaded. So after it has loaded, you can of course pan and see what is happening. So what I'll come to preset, then choose JPEG high, just like that. Then leave this to be JPEG, and I will click on save. So once I click on save, let me see what it will do. Of course, it will load again this where I can save it. I'll choose to where I want to save it. Sorry, think I had done this some other time. I'll choose where to save it and then just hit save. So that is another way to do that. I can just click cancel, just like that. And for me, I just created a shortcut on how to quickly export this. So if I come to file and then say export, you can see this option, quick export as, and my shortcut is F8. So if I hit F8, it will quickly save that. If I also click there, it will load me to the place I want to go and save it, and then I can happily choose where to save it. For example, I said I usually place mine in local disk D and in a folder called thumbnails. I just come to thumbnails, just like that, and then I can hit save. So that will automatically save there, and I can now go and access my photo. It will come in a form of a picture, then I can now upload it for use on YouTube. So guys, this is what I felt like sharing with you, and I believe that this has been helpful to you. And in case you found value in my video, feel very free to subscribe. You can also ring that bell so that you do not miss any future tips, tricks, or tutorials that I usually offer every week. And guys, you can also share and like my video so that I can also reach out to many more people who need to understand this and who need to learn this in Photoshop. So guys, I hope that I will see you in my future videos. Peace.